And let's talk about auto forecast. What are 2023 prices going to be looking like? Because all throughout a good part of 21, once prices started to go up, and then almost pretty much everyone on YouTube in 2022 was saying, don't buy, wait, 2, 3, 4 months, prices are going to crash. That's what was being said. And meanwhile, I was really bucking the trend, and I was kind of saying, well, you've got an amazing trade value on your vehicle, whether you trade it in or you sell it yourself. Your old vehicle is worth a fortune. Yeah, the prices have gone up a little, but the trades are worth so much. So if you have a trade, it's actually a great time to buy. So I was pushing people to buy now when everyone was saying to hold off. Now, if you did hold off, you're in a whole lot of trouble. Prices have gone up, skyrocketed. You've got Car Edge dealing with, love the guys over at Car Edge, Ray and Zach. They do a fantastic job of showing real life data, and they're showing how prices have gone up. And they're doing a great job of it. I just need to correct one small thing because I like to be precise as often as possible. And right here, I just want to point out the Lightning did not go up 40%. The Lightning was 41,669 in 2022, and it's not 93,609. It is 55,974, and that's a 25.6% price increase. And just because Tesla has had prices drop on their electric vehicles, that's signaling to a lot of people to say, again, hold off. Prices are going to be dropping right down. Tesla is a one-off instance. They dropped the prices, and Ford, the Mach-E as well, to compete in China. They did it here as well, and it's a one-off. So I just want to point that out before continuing off. I want to say thank you very much, Ridgeview, for making it to be our moderator this evening. And Peugeot, who's always here in the house, is here. Thank you so much for making it. Driven Wild Outdoors. Good evening to you. That's our friend Dwayne, that once a year we go and off-road with. So generally the market here is telling everyone to hold off. However, people don't always agree. And a relationship, you don't always agree. And I'm starting to see that Ray and Zach, I think, don't agree on this, because right here, Zach is saying Ford and GM prices are going to crash in 2023. And I'm going to say, a bit of the arguments for both cases, but my forecast prices are not going to drop. We're going to see MSRP or this over MSRP nonsense disappear if you play your cards right. And smart dealers aren't going to be playing that deck of cards. That's not a good poker hand to be trying to play right now. But you've got Ray over here saying car prices are going to be crazy for the next 10 years. And he specifically said that, it's either kind of maintain your current vehicle for as long as possible, but basically buy now or pay more later, is pretty much a direct quote from his episode. He's starting to turn around. So for this, for a stock market analysis, we're saying he's going towards sort of a bull saying, buy now. Well, I've been a bull the whole time saying buy right now, but you need to know how to buy, what to know, what to say, how to negotiate. And actually, Car Edge, I'm going to plug them. Fantastic. Lots of videos on, how to purchase, negotiate. And, that's what we do here as well. But I think they do it really well, and they've been doing it far longer than I have. So I really need to plug them. So Cox Automotive, if you want to follow along and, do some background reading, basically what's been going on is, Cox Automotive, they're going through the data and they're saying, hey, February new sales are, they're more than they were a year ago. And that's due to improving inventory, which I can confirm inventory was way down, next to nothing in 2022. And, fear of losing out. So FOMO set in, and a lot of people started to buy 2021. The inventory that was available with the few vehicles that were coming in made a bit of, you could say, a surplus. Then in 2022, prices were down come 2022. And we could see it over at Ford here. I've got I had something saved in the computer from 2022. And it was pointing out that February sales for 2022 were down 21 or 22% from what they had been in 2021. So 2022 saw overall sales go down because there are just less vehicles. So we've got it right up there, basically down 20.9% from 2021 to 2022. So 2022, low sales. Right now, sales are being maintained by inventory, but a lot of people on YouTube are saying, don't buy right now. Manufacturers are in so much trouble because the only reason the numbers are good is because they're sending a lot of vehicles to fleet. That consumer sales are actually stagnant or, poor. And that look at what manufacturers are having to do. They're having to send all these vehicles off to fleet sales, which are low profit, very, very low profit margins. They're not good sales. So they're seeing this as a move of desperation. And you could, go with that line of thinking and say, once all these fleet sales are done, what are they going to do? If they don't have fleet buyers buying and they don't have consumers buying, what happens? That would crash. If they want to continue selling and bring people in, they need to lower the prices. And if both fleet and consumer sales are way down, then the rebates would have to be huge. Well, here's the thing. I think we're forgetting. For the last basically 2 years, manufacturers essentially either stopped or almost stopped sending vehicles as fleet sales. So manufacturers were building next to no fleet vehicles. So fleet numbers went way down. And if you still have only a certain amount of vehicles you can produce. So production is limited. It's better than it was, but it is limited. And they're way behind in delivering these fleet vehicles to the companies. So they're catching up. And when you're catching up and you don't want people to be upset about waiting on their vehicle and you want to regain some inventory, what do? Well, you have prices be a little higher. Now, the MSRPs went up in 2022. And right now, the monthly payments are pretty darn high. They're pretty outrageous. And that's because of a combination of interest rate, as well as the prices that have gone up. But just like we see in the real estate, and even more so like in construction and building, we're not going to see those prices. If anything, the prices are going to stay pretty much the same. And to increase sales, interest rates might go down. And I do predict interest rates are going to go down. My prediction is pricing is either going to be very similar to what we see right now, but I'm much more inclined to think that we'll see better interest rates on current 2023 models come summer or fall.
That's good news.
That's good news. So one thing I'm positive about, inventories have gone up and they're going to continue to go up a little bit more. We have seen GM making the move to actually control production so that inventory doesn't go up too high. That's about controlling cost as well, because there's interest to be paid. I'm sure manufacturers are going to be happy when they have to stop. Some manufacturers give back a bit of a bonus when you get rid of vehicles once you sell the vehicle, and the bonus really is just to help pay for that interest, because there used to be a lot of interest to pay on these vehicles. And with the increases in prices, they want to keep these vehicles on dealer lots for a shorter period of time so that they don't have to give back as much money to the dealers to help cope with the interest. And the interest would be much higher these days because vehicles are much higher than they used to be. They've gone up. You look at an XLT 302 Sport from 3-4 years ago. Let's say 4 years ago, it was about $58,000 Canadian, and now they're about $73,000, $74,000 Canadian. So prices have gone up a lot over 4 years. Not a prediction. I'm confident that well-equipped trucks are the new luxury vehicles. If you go back to 1990s and 2000s, big price tags on anything that was luxury. Now trucks are the new luxury vehicle for the modern age. And all this means is, yes, You're going to see some layoffs at some of these truck plants, like other YouTubers talk about. Here we've got Flying Wheels. Why car prices are up again, and they are, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. But you've got Car Questions Answered saying GM and Ford can't sell trucks, layoffs starting. Yes and no. GM and Ford can sell trucks. The minute they lower interest rates, consumer sales will go up. But right now, I think they're happy getting a bit of inventory and trying to get to the right inventory level. But as we move forward in the future, we're going to see less of these gasoline-powered trucks sold and more electric trucks sold. So unfortunately, this is a move being pushed by the governments. All manufacturers will be penalized if they don't have a 50 mile per gallon fleet average, meaning they're going to artificially have us buy. They're going to make it so we don't want to buy gasoline trucks. Unless you have a good amount of money, huge, deep pockets, you're not going to be buying a gasoline powered truck in 5 years. So I'm saying it, my huge prediction, and I'm 100% confident about this, is if you want a gasoline powered truck, buy one this year. You could not take the risk and just buy one right now, or maybe see if I'm right and see if interest rates do drop by 2% come end of summer, early fall. And that's only going to occur if there's a decent amount of inventory. That's going to be their tool. Manufacturers are going to use interest rates as their tool to control inventory. Now, it would be a bad move if they go back to, any manufacturer that throws a huge rebate on their new vehicle just instantly killed your trade value, making it so that you can trade less often. Because if your trade value is low and your amount owing is high, that's negative equity. And when you have negative equity, banks say, we're not financing that. And when you have negative equity, if it's big enough negative equity, you either have to put down cash. So be very wary when a dealer asks you for cash. That's one of my important tips for today is don't put cash. If you're being told you have to put cash, you need to know why. Because sometimes trade values are hidden. If you sell the new vehicle at a higher price, or you don't give, if there are any rebates, you don't give the rebates that are there. There's nothing that holds back. We've seen it the last 2 years. If a dealer wants to add an extra $5,000 or $10,000 to the price of a vehicle, they can. And they could then also give you $5,000 or $10,000 more for your trade so that it looks like it's a great time to trade your vehicle. You don't have any negative equity. So be wary of when a dealer asks you for cash. You shouldn't have to put down cash to get your financing or lease. Now, another thing is make sure that you do get the interest rate provided by the manufacturer. They are almost always better than a bank rate. But sometimes some dealers will try to bypass the manufacturer's interest rate, which generally gives them $0, and send you straight to a bank. Where they do get money. They can get a kickback from taking you to a bank. So if you're buying a new vehicle, go online, build your vehicle online, make sure you have the right MSRP price, see if there are any internet rebates. Now, overall, the average rebate on vehicles for the month of February did go up a little. It's around $1,600, so that is an improvement from 6 months ago. So some people might say, oh, but Johnny's wrong. There's incentives now, and there weren't rebates 6 months ago. Yeah, but 6 months ago, vehicles cost less. And 12 months ago, vehicles cost considerably less. Zach was saying that the Lightning went up 40%. It didn't. It went up 25.6%. But there's an instance of, imagine someone that waited and went, oh, well, I find the Lightning's interest back then it was at 4.99 in Canada. Now it's 6.99. Imagine someone that said, no, I'm going to wait. I think prices are going to go down and I'm going to get a better deal. Oh boy, are you not getting a better deal? So I'm very much a believer of buy now. And if not now, if you're finding the interest rates too high, order a vehicle now, because likely it'll come in, 3 to 7 months. And that's about when, if we do see lower interest rates, we will. And what's great about Ford, I love, I don't like ordering at GM. You order at GM and the price you're going to pay is, the price and interest rate when the vehicle shows up. So I don't like the uncertainty. I like when things are certain. So when you're at Ford, let's talk about price protection.